I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What about studies?
They're going well. Online classes.
Yeah, I heard about it. I'm so nervous about it.
Yeah, college life. It's gonna be difficult, pretty much.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah. So let's start our topic.
Yeah.
And today our topic is mental health and psychology. And today you're gonna be hearing meaningful conversation between us. So first, I want to know about psychology. Can you just share us with your knowledge about psychology?
Look, I will tell you a little short in psychology that what is psychology? Psychology is something related to our mind. Everything about our mind is psychology. Now, whatever we think, whatever we behave is psychology. We think about ourselves, we think about others, and then we behave is called psychology. Psychology is everything about our mind. So what would you like to say about mental health?
Mental health includes psychological, emotional and social well-being. Make mental health priority, legend said. And you know what? We say make physical health priority. And you know what? Who is right? Definitely legends. So mental health is just all about, being socially available for yourselves. And it's just all about this mental health, and there are some disorders related to mental health, and we're going to discuss about this later. But before that, I want to know about basis of psychology.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to share everything about the basis of psychology. Sigmund Freud said about psychology. He's the father of psychology, and he says that our mind is divided into three parts. Number one is conscious mind, number two is subconscious mind, and so number three is unconscious mind. Turns are positive.
Yeah.
So let me explain it. Number one is conscious mind. The conscious mind states all those things that we are speaking in the present, that whatever we know is present in the conscious mind. Number two is subconscious mind. It stays like a memory, like a RAM in a computer. So it states everything of the 24 hours that we stay in our mind, that finally if I see a scenery and I say, yeah, that's what I remember something about it, then subconscious mind sends into the conscious mind and I got to know that I have seen before. Then last comes to the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind says about those things which we do not need in our time. So they are like a backup that we don't even remember, that we don't even know they are in the unconscious mind. But suddenly we got a person to see that I have seen this person before, and I'm forcing to remember the person that comes from unconscious mind to the conscious mind to understand the thing. It is compared to the picture of the iceberg, and they have shown each and everything step by step. You can also search. I'm going to do it short, but I have just told you the short. I will give you an example of a nation. For example, if a nation is in slavery from generations, then their new generation will also face the same thing, and their psychology will also be the same. For example, there is also a psychology, birds, of course. Animals also have the mind, right?
Yeah.
So they also have a psychology. If we keep a bird in a cage for a long time, then if I take him out of the cage, so it will not accept the freedom. It will again go back in his cage. Because psychology is, whatever his psychology is in mind, that he has stayed for a long time in the cage, he doesn't accept the freedom. Before I told you about a nation, that if a nation is in slavery from 10 to 12 to 20 generations, and their new generation will also be the same, their psychology will also be the same as their parents. It means psychology also includes the heredity and gene, from a parent to their offspring. And then comes those nations who are freedom, who are having freedom from most of the time, from generations to generations. Then their new generation will also face freedom. Their psychology will also be free and full of freedom. So these are the basics of psychology. When people learn the basics of psychology, absolutely most importantly, you have to learn evolution. The term evolution. Evolution is one of the important things that also includes in the psychology. Because psychology is a big topic though. It includes so many branches. When you talk about psychology, you automatically talk about evolution, about social life. You talk about these kind of stuff. So evolution also puts some impacts on the psychology. It put the effects on the psychology. So evolution is important to learn before you learn psychology. When you put a gap in the evolution to learn, when you put some space in it, then you cannot understand the psychology. So it is important to learn evolution before you learn the psychology. So what would you like to say about disorders?
Yes, yeah, right. Mental disorders, yes, it's just an important thing. Like, as we know, particularly in Pakistan, mental illness is not provided with that much concern and treatments and importance as compared to the physical illness. So there are some disorders which I'll be sharing with you. The first one is one of the most dangerous disorders of mental illness is the schizophrenia. The word is originated from the Greek, and that schizo means split, phrenia means mind. So it's just it's a disease about where you interpret a reality abnormally. I mean, you're seeing the false beliefs. There are some symptoms of it. It includes hallucination, delusion, completely disorganized behavior. In hallucination and delusion, it includes about the false beliefs you're having. For example, somebody is harming you, harassing you, but in reality, it's not happening. So it's just a false belief that you're having. And then these are the things about the hallucination that you're hearing and seeing people which really does not exist in reality. And there are some causes of it. The first cause includes that your family history of somebody suffering from schizophrenia, and then the drugs which you kept taking in your teenage life. Then you have some treatments also. The first treatment is known as an antipsychotic drug that really affects your dopamine, and it really leads you to the recovery from this disease. But what if this disease is left untreated? It can lead to suicidal thoughts. It can lead to fatal things, right? It includes OCD, that is the obsessive compulsive disorder. It also includes depression and anxieties. So it can just go so bad if it's left untreated. So you need to make sure that you take this illness as your priority, because it can lead to really disaster. So this was all about the schizophrenia. Now I want to learn more about mental illness disorders. Can you just share it with me?
Look, there are so many disorders of mental illness, like e.t.c. and OCD, you told, and deprivation, eating disorders, anxiety disorders, and so on. So I will not, I know about some diseases, I know about some disorders that medical is not my field actually, but I know something about it. But I just want to say I don't want to tell you or describe these diseases, because I want to convey a message all around that the person who is suffering from diseases, there is nothing to do. They should go to the doctors, they should pay fees, and they should go every month for a treatment. But the person who can't pay to go to a doctor, they are sent to the mental asylum. They are freezed in a room. People just throw them aside because they think they feel dangerous from the person who is suffering from depression or any other psychological disease. Before facing these kind of old diseases, I think we should stand. Before you fall, stand up before you fall, as we say. Stand up before you fall. This is my, actually the quote I want to share, that we can discuss about disorders, but I just want to say we should not discuss about disorders, because I just want to say that before moving in those disorders, we should stand up, we should do our own therapy. People do not know about therapy and counseling. What is therapy? Therapy is something about 3 or more people, 2 or more people sitting together and do counseling with each other. The person who is suffering from this disease or these kind of diseases of psychology should find out a person around him, in a family, in friends, either in the neighbors or anywhere. There will be someone who is going to do the therapy. The person should be agree to do that. For example, I am suffering from depression. I think I am going to face the depression, or I am suffering from depression. I move to you. I said, do therapy, ask me questions, do counseling on me. I will answer you. I am here to answer, and that's make me learn how to do our own therapy. So when I will do my own therapy, I will do my own counseling, and then I'm going to treat myself. So treat yourself. Do not go to the schizophrenia, the last stage of the depression, right? Before moving there, do your own treatment. That's what I recommend, because we both are not doctors. We cannot tell you about the medicines, we cannot tell you about the treatment, but I can absolutely say that therapy and counseling are one of the treatment for the depression and for the other diseases of the psychology.
If you say that the physical health doctors and mental health doctors, that include psychologists, therapists, and all these things. So if you compare them, you see that in Pakistan, that there are more physical health doctors than mental health doctors. I mean, why? What does it mean? It means that you're not giving importance to mental health. right? That's not the right thing to do, because when somebody is mentally ill, he needs someone to be with him, to provide him love and support, and say that I'm here for you, and we'll get through this, and you're not alone, and we will just get through this. You don't need to worry about it. Provide him all this tremendous support and warm hugs to make him feel better. This is how you can really get through from depression. But here's another thing, that there are very less people in the world who are kind. We're looking for kind people who help us through this. There are very less kind people in this world, and here's just inhumanity everywhere. There are people who are just being inhuman, showing that yes, we are bad people, and we will depress you even more if you're depressed. We'll call you psycho, we'll call you bloody jerk, whatever these harsh words came out from your mouth, and you hurt that person, that makes this condition even worse. Or there are some other people who say that there's a mental asylum beside your house, or maybe some blocks away from your house. You should go there because you deserve that place. Come on, mental asylum is never a solution. You need a perfect therapy. You need something that that can really create a difference. So it just cannot be like you just say that drink water, pray, everything will be fine. I mean, these things are important, but these are not that much important. These are not just enough to get through this, because mental illness is not a normal thing. Depression is not a joke. You all have to understand this, and you have to believe in this thing, and you need to make sure that you be kind as much as you can, because kindness, we need kindness. We have already lost a lot of gems. We just can't lose anymore. We can't afford losing any more people. So if you really care about those people around you, if they tell you that they're not okay, just don't leave them. Be with them and tell them that we are here with you and we'll get through this. Everything will be fine, because suicide is not a solution. Because at the end of the day, people slit their wrists and bled to death. This is not something we want. We want people to live, because life is for living. Life is not for dying, for killing yourself.
Absolutely right. I would include here some causes of deprivation.
Yeah.
Most of in Pakistan, most of the people grow in deprivation due to poverty. Because they are poor, they are financially not good, they cannot feed their family. That's why they just cut their wrists out.
Yeah.
Or they hang up on the fan. Or sometimes people in the world are suffering from deprivation, are facing deprivation because they are, they are addicted towards drug, they drink, they smoke. That's why they are suffering from deprivation. Some of the people move in depression because of the coincidents happen with them. Someone's father died, someone's tragedies, absolutely. Someone's brother died, so that's why they move in the depression and they got suicide.
Yeah.
Every year 8 lakh people do suicide.
So bad.
It's so bad. It's a very,
sad thing.
New research.
Yeah.
So these kind of people do suicide. I think suicide is not a solution.
Never.
It's giving up. Right?
Yeah, it's just giving up. You're tired of your life, and you just need that. You want to get over from this because your life sucks.
We just need to, these kind of suicides are a really bad thing, I think.
Yeah.
So we should not do that. If you, as I told you, before going in depression, treat yourself.
Yeah.
You have a willpower. When you are in depression, what you do? You don't have that power to take a right decision at the right time.
Yeah.
You just lose those old thinkings. You just lose those old power to take a right decision at the right time.
Yeah.
When you are in depression, you start losing the trust. You start believing in no one. You don't believe in anyone when you are in depression. You move in inferiority complex or superiority complex. Right? You move there, and then you dislike therapy. You dislike counseling. You hate people. You say they can't do anything to me. I'm fine sitting alone, sitting in a room.
Yeah.
You don't need anyone there if you are suffering from depression. That's a really bad disease, I think. That's so hilarious, that's so awful to hear about it. And I think people shouldn't do suicide. 100% of the surveys have told that one person who is saved after doing suicide, 100% of the people are taking the interviews, and 100% of the people say that we regret. We were wrong. We shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do that. Suicide is not a solution. And they never again attempted suicide.
Yes.
There is no any case in the world. They did suicide, they are safe, they again did suicide, this never happened.
Yeah.
So I think suicide is not a solution.
Yes. I think society needs to be more supportive, because when a person is depressed or having some kind of problems, we need to make sure that we stay with that person. Or if that person, the problem is that we stop. And you have to understand this thing, because it's something that can be leads to a fatal problem. So you need to make sure that you stay with that person, you provide him support and all these things. And a person who is in depression needs to tell this thing to his parents, to someone who he loves, who he trusts. So in this way you can really heal your wounds which are inside you, and make sure that you don't have to be embarrassed that you are depressed, you are suffering from depression. So many people suffer from it, and then they think that they do not share this thing with other people. They feel embarrassed. It's not something to be embarrassed about. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay. So it's completely fine. All you need to do is just to take a deep breath, heal yourself, and start again. Because life is for living. You need to just keep going in your life and to make sure that you live life to its fullest. That's what it means. Life is for living, not for dying, not for killing yourself.
Absolutely right. I totally agree with you. Here I want to include something, a main factor of psychology, that is about religion. People are believing in religion. It's a good thing to have a shelter from religion, because every person needs a shelter. They can have a physical shelter from anyone, from doing the work at the homes and doing the fields. Mostly the poor people. I'm talking about poor people. So they can have a shelter, they can have money, they can eat food, they are living their lives. But what about depression over here? What about depression over here? The mind. They need mentally a shelter. For a mental shelter, the most of the people in the sin, the most of the poor people in the sin choose religion. They move there. And this religion is coming from generations to generations. That's why they can't even, they can't even hear a word against religion. So they are totally injected in that.
Yeah.
They are totally, interconnected with religion. So they believe in the witchcraft. They believe in the black magic. They believe in the saints, and they think that if they will go to their saint, they will be okay. If you are suffering from fever, flu, cough, you will go to that saint, you will get okay. I have taken the interviews of the women in my village. So they used to believe in that. And they take a temporary shelter from the religion, from the saints, the holy city over there. They do their therapy by the saints, but they cannot do counseling. That's why the therapy is not completed. And that's why they can't stand on their feet. Psychology. So this is how this is the main factor. But when you talk about normally therapy between both of us, that if you are doing therapy on me, I will learn from you. And I will do my own therapy. That's what makes me learn. But in religion, you are dependent upon religion forever, for your whole life.
Right.
It's good to have a little shelter, temporary shelter from religion, but I think depending forever on it is not good. And one more thing I want to share here is, I told you that psychology has so many branches, like it is also interconnected with social life. So the social life is actually made with the government and with the behavior of the politicians. The behavior of the politician has an impact on the social life of the society around us, and the society's impacts on one home, and then the home makes the psychology. This is how a psychology is being made in our home. So I think we should end our discussion here, and we had a great discussion. I really love to be with you here, and I really enjoyed the discussion over with you.
It's a great time with you.
Thank you for being with me once again.
It's fun.
So we discussed about deprivation today, and about the disorders, about psychology, about mental health. I hope that you guys learned a lot from this. And I have also done a review of a book, Deprivation, that was written by Dr. Hawk. The link is down in the description. Go watch there. In the end, I would say that to my every Sindhi sister and brother, to be with yourself, have unity with each other, move toward the education. Sorry to say about it, but our sin is not moving towards education. That we should move forward in education. We should learn all the things around the world, around people are doing, right? So we should do that so that our nation can come forward in the world. Thank you for watching our video.
And remember, you're not alone.